What if I told you the Yamaha R1, a superbike known for its blistering speed, was secretly held back? An engine so powerful, so revolutionary, that whispers suggest its own creators had to restrict it. For years, writers have debated why this iconic machine, despite its impressive numbers, sometimes feels different, or why its power figures on paper might not always match the raw output of its rivals. This is the shocking true story of the Yamaha R1's restricted crossplane engine, the hidden power that refused to be fully unleashed, and why it became a legend. The R1's groundbreaking journey. The Yamaha R1 made its grand entrance in 1998, instantly redefining standards of performance and innovation in the motorcycle industry. At its heart was an innovative, compact, and lightweight 998 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled four-cylinder engine. This original power plant featured a unique 5-valve per cylinder head, a design choice made to boost torque and improve airflow through redesigned valve sizes and improved porting. A true game-changer in the R1's early days was project leader Kunihiko Miwa's ingenious decision to create the world's first vertically stacked gearbox in a production motorcycle. This clever arrangement resulted in a shorter and lighter engine, which in turn allowed for a longer swing arm. A longer swing arm generally enhances traction, and by keeping the overall wheelbase compact, Yamaha ensured sharper riding dynamics without sacrificing stability. This design choice immediately set the R1 apart, demonstrating an early focus on optimizing handling and usable power. The bike boasted an astonishing 150 PS while weighing only 177 kilograms, achieving an impressive power-to-weight ratio from its very first generation. In 2000, Yamaha revised over 250 parts, enhancing the engine and chassis and improving the bike's aerodynamics with a new titanium muffler. Just 2 years later, in 2002, the next generation of R1 arrived, introducing a groundbreaking vacuum-controlled fuel injection system that refined power output. This model also featured a new DeltaBox 3 frame, which was lighter and 30% stronger in torsional rigidity. The year 2004 marked the arrival of the fourth-generation R1, featuring a completely new engine with a larger bore and shorter stroke, along with a ram air intake and distinctive underseat exhausts. This iteration achieved a remarkable 1-to-1 power-to-weight ratio, delivering 180 PS. By 2007, the R1 embraced advanced electronics with Yamaha's innovative YCCT ride-by-wire throttle system and electronically controlled variable air intake funnels, known as YCCI. These continuous advancements were all building towards the R1's most significant transformation, hinting at the revolutionary crossplane crankshaft engine that would arrive in 2009. Decoding the crossplane engine. The crossplane engine was not merely a new design. It was a direct transfer of race-winning technology from Yamaha's MotoGP M1 race bike. Yamaha had been using crossplane engines in its MotoGP machines since 2004, where it proved its worth on the world's most demanding racetracks. Legendary rider Valentino Rossi, who joined Yamaha in 2004, specifically chose the crossplane-engined YZR-M1 because he found it offered a smoother throttle response and promoted better rear tire traction. This clearly indicates that the crossplane was developed for superior traction and rider feel, not just raw power. In 2009, significant advances in metallurgy and manufacturing made it economically viable to bring this race-proven technology to a production motorcycle for the first time. This marked a paradigm shift in the superbike world, as Yamaha became the first manufacturer to offer a production motorcycle with a crossplane crankshaft. To understand the crossplane, it helps to think of the crankshaft as the backbone of the engine. It is the part that converts the up and down motion of the pistons into the spinning motion that drives the wheels. In most traditional four-cylinder inline engines, the parts of the crankshaft that connect to the pistons are all arranged in a flat line, or 180 degrees apart. This is known as a flat plane crankshaft. However, on a crossplane crankshaft, These connecting points are arranged at 90-degree angles to each other. When viewed from the end, the crankshaft forms a distinct cross shape, which is how it earned its name. This visual difference in the crankshaft design directly translates to a fundamental change in how the engine feels and sounds, which is a core benefit for the rider. This unique arrangement leads to a very special uneven rhythm in the engine's firing order. A conventional inline four-cylinder engine fires its cylinders at even intervals, usually every 180 degrees of crankshaft rotation. This creates a smooth, high-pitched scream that is characteristic of many sport bikes. But the Crossplane R1, with its 90-degree crankpin arrangement, has an uneven firing order. 270 to 180 to 90 to 180 degrees. This irregular sequence produces a distinctive deep rumble or growl, a sound much closer to that of a V-twin or V4 engine, setting it apart from other inline fours. This uneven firing order is the direct cause of the R1's distinctive sound and its unique power delivery characteristics, which are central to its rider appeal. The true power of the Crossplane engine lies not just in raw numbers, but in how it delivers that power. In a conventional engine, the rapid up and down movement of the pistons creates what Yamaha calls inertial torque. Think of this as a kind of noise or interference that can mask the true power coming from the engine's combustion, making the throttle feel less direct. The Crossplane design almost completely eliminates this noise. It is like turning down the static on a radio so that the music, or in this case, the combustion torque, can be heard clearly and purely. This means the rider feels a pure, direct connection between the throttle and the rear wheel. The power delivery becomes more linear, meaning it comes on smoothly and predictably, without sudden surges or dips. This smooth, predictable power delivery is crucial for helping the rear tire find and maintain grip, especially when accelerating out of corners. The uneven firing sequence also allows the tire to rest and regain traction between power pulses, a significant advantage on the racetrack. This is precisely why top racers like Valentino Rossi championed this engine design, recognizing that the Crossplane's primary benefit is superior rider feedback, control, and traction, achieved by minimizing inertial torque and optimizing power pulses for tire grip. However, this special design comes with its own set of hidden costs and engineering challenges. Crossplane crankshafts are inherently heavier than flatplane crankshafts because they require larger, heavier counterweights to ensure smooth operation and balance the engine's forces. This added weight can make the engine rev a bit slower compared to lighter, flat-plane designs. Furthermore, the uneven firing order can create more vibrations, which necessitates stronger and heavier engine components, and often requires the addition of a balance shaft to quell these shakes. These factors contribute to increased complexity and higher manufacturing costs. Some rival manufacturers have chosen not to adopt the Crossplane design for their inline fours precisely because of these inherent engineering trade-offs, preferring simpler, lighter designs that can achieve higher rev limits. Separating fact from fiction. The idea of the R1 being restricted often stems from a misunderstanding of its horsepower figures. Yamaha officially rates the R1 at around 200 PS at the crankshaft. However, when tested on a dynamometer, which measures power at the rear wheel, the R1 often shows lower numbers, typically ranging from 158 to 178 horsepower. This difference is entirely normal, as a certain amount of power is always lost as it travels through the motorcycle's transmission and chain drive to the rear wheel. This discrepancy between claimed crank horsepower and rear wheel dyno figures is a common industry practice, but for the R1, it is further complicated by specific electronic and regulatory restrictions that are often misunderstood. The real story of the R1's restriction lies partly within its digital brain, the engine control unit or ECU. Modern superbikes like the R1 use a sophisticated ECU that controls every aspect of the engine's operation, from fuel delivery to ignition timing. The R1 features a ride-by-wire throttle system, meaning that twisting the throttle grip does not directly open the engine's throttle bodies. Instead, it sends an electronic signal to the ECU. This allows the ECU to precisely manage power delivery. Crucially, The R1's ECU is often programmed to restrict or dial back the throttle opening at certain stages of its rev range. For example, at high RPMs, the throttle butterflies might not open 100%, but rather close down by as much as 20%. Yamaha's YCC-T Yamaha chip-controlled throttle and YCC-I Yamaha chip-controlled intake systems work together to precisely manage airflow and fuel, ensuring smooth power delivery. This active management of power delivery is a deliberate software choice, not an inherent engine limitation. It is designed to enhance rider control and traction rather than purely maximize peak power, especially for street riding conditions where sudden, untamed power could be overwhelming. Another significant factor shaping the R1's power output is the rules of the road imposed by environmental regulations. Modern motorcycles must meet increasingly strict emission standards, such as the Euro 5 regulations. To comply with these laws, manufacturers often have to make design changes that can affect power output, particularly at certain RPMs. For instance, the 2020 R1 received a new cylinder head, camshafts, an updated fuel injection system, and notably, 4 catalyzers in its exhaust system. These measures are necessary to clean up exhaust gases, but can introduce back pressure and reduce peak power. This is a major reason why Yamaha focused on boosting efficiency rather than extracting significantly more raw power in recent years. The catalytic converter's location, sometimes close to the rider's leg, can also lead to heat buildup, prompting some owners to replace it with aftermarket parts. Environmental regulations impose significant constraints on engine tuning, forcing manufacturers to restrict power in certain ways to meet emissions targets. This is a major, unavoidable factor in the R1's power delivery characteristics. The shocking truth for many enthusiasts comes when they witness what happens when riders choose to unleash the beast by modifying their R1s. Many owners opt to reflash the ECU, which means reprogramming the bike's digital brain, or install aftermarket exhaust systems. This process effectively unlocks the engine, removing the factory restrictions on throttle opening and optimizing the fuel and ignition maps for maximum output. The results can be dramatic. A significant increase in rear-wheel horsepower, sometimes adding up to 50 horsepower, pushing the bike closer to 180 to 190 or more horsepower at the wheel. These measurable power gains from aftermarket tuning confirm that the R1's engine is indeed restricted by software and emissions controls, not by its fundamental mechanical design. This provides the tangible evidence for the shocking truth that enthusiasts have long suspected. This leads to the understanding of Yamaha's master plan. The R1's perceived restriction is not a flaw or a weakness, but a strategic engineering decision. Yamaha's primary goal with the Crossplane engine was never just to achieve the highest peak horsepower number. Instead, it was to deliver a linear, torque-rich delivery and improved traction. They prioritized rider feel, control, and confidence, especially for high-performance riding and track use. The restriction, therefore, is part of this philosophy. It makes the immense power usable and predictable, reducing wheel spin and allowing riders to feel more connected to the bike, especially when exiting corners. It is a delicate balance between raw power, rider confidence, and meeting legal requirements. Yamaha's restriction is a strategic engineering decision to deliver a superior riding experience focused on control, traction, and usable power, rather than an all-out, untamed horsepower figure. It is a feature, not a flaw, enabling the R1's racing dominance and street accessibility. R1 versus the competition. In the fiercely competitive world of superbikes, the Yamaha R1 stands alongside formidable rivals like the Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade, the Kawasaki ZX-10R, and the Suzuki GSX R1000. Each of these machines is an engineering marvel, but the R1's Crossplane engine gives it a distinct character in this high-stakes showdown. The Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade, for example, often boasts higher peak horsepower figures, sometimes reaching 215 horsepower compared to the R1's 200 horsepower. It achieves this with a larger bore and shorter stroke. a design that typically favors high-revving, top-end power, making it incredibly track-focused. Its engine tends to scream at high RPMs, a stark contrast to the R1's deeper rumble. The Kawasaki ZX-10R, with similar displacement, also delivers immense power, around 203 horsepower, honed through years of world superbike racing. The Suzuki GSX-R 1000 is known for its high-revving engine and a fabulously smooth torque curve. While rivals often boast higher peak horsepower figures, the R1's Crossplane engine offers a distinct advantage in terms of linear power delivery and rider connection, making it competitive not just on paper, but where it truly matters, on the track and in the rider's hands. The R1's Crossplane engine provides a truly distinct riding experience. Its unique firing order gives it a feel often described as a blend between the strong low-end torque of a V-twin and the exhilarating top-end power of an inline 4. This unique power delivery makes the R1 surprisingly manageable for street riding, despite its track-focused design. In contrast, some of its rivals, with their more aggressive high-revving power bands, might feel less forgiving or require more precise throttle control at lower RPMs, being designed almost purely for outright track performance. The R1's Crossplane engine provides a unique, more forgiving and connected riding experience, making it appealing to a broader range of skilled riders beyond just professional racers. Ultimately, the R1 appeals to riders who crave a special bond with their machine. Its unique exhaust note, linear power delivery, and enhanced feel create a deeper connection between rider and motorcycle. It is about feeling directly controlling the rear wheel without any interference from distracting engine forces. For many enthusiasts, the R1 is more than just a fast bike. It is a machine with a unique soul and character that stands apart in the superbike world. The R1's restriction is integral to its unique character and emotional appeal, fostering a strong rider connection that transcends pure performance metrics. The road ahead for the R1 continues to be paved with innovation. Yamaha constantly refines the machine, with recent updates for 2025 including new MotoGP-inspired winglets for enhanced downforce, premium Brembo Stylema monoblock front brake calipers, and a fully redesigned KYB front fork. Importantly, the explosive 998 cubic centimeter CP4 Crossplane engine remains at the core of the R1, a testament to its enduring effectiveness and Yamaha's commitment to this unique design. While the superbike market faces challenges, including shifting customer preferences and increasingly strict environmental regulations, Yamaha's continued investment in the R1, particularly its Crossplane engine, underscores its commitment to this unique engineering philosophy and the R1's enduring importance as a brand flagship. The shocking truth behind the Yamaha R1's restricted 998 cubic centimeter Crossplane Inline 4 engine is not a story of limitation, but one of deliberate, brilliant engineering. It is a choice that prioritizes rider feel, traction, and usable power over raw, untamed numbers, all while navigating the complex world of regulations and competition. This makes the R1 a machine that connects with its rider in a way few others can, a true champion born from the racetrack and perfected for the road. So the next time whispers of the R1's restricted engine are heard, remember the shocking truth. It is not a limitation. It is a masterpiece of control, a symphony of power, and the very heart of what makes the Yamaha R1 an undeniable legend.